So tidal flow is one of the most important aspects of our inshore fishing world. It's what moves the water, which moves bait, which activates the feeding. There's a keeper. As you can see, I'm drop shotting here. This is a deep area, tide's running hard, and it's flowing through a cut in the wall, and I'm fishing on the down current side, just throwing it into that current. The complex part of the tidal flow is that you don't always have to be fishing where the flow is the hardest. That doesn't necessarily mean that's where the best fish are going to be, especially larger fish. I find that larger fish, they do respond to tidal flow, absolutely, but they may not be in the strong current. They might be along the edges of a large lake, or on a flat, or along rock shorelines where the flow is slowed, but it's still moving. There we go, there we go. Oh, this is a nice fish. Oh, yeah. Finally landed one of these. Beautiful fish. And typically, you're going to find more trout on the downstream side of that pinch point. Possibly not in the current itself, maybe just on the edge of it. So you may want to fish something heavy, like a drop shot or a heavy Carolina rig, or even double jig heads, or just ½ ounce, even 3/4 ounce jig heads. Something to get you to the bottom. As the tide slows, then the entire water column may come into play, and the trout may move up in the water column, away from the bottom, or maybe even from the edges and into the flow. With my drop shot, I have you can do this in a lot of ways. I've got a ½ ounce Lindy weight on one side. I've got just a plain hook with a bait, and this I'm happen to be using a Zeman jerk shad at the moment, but this just basically nose hook, not quite. I do run it through lip, but it just sits there. So in a case like this, I'm just pitching this heavy drop shot out into the current line, and then I'm not working it a little bit, giving little hops. Doesn't need a lot. I mean, you could even get them to hit it just by the bait floating. And typically I'm getting hits as it comes off of the strong current line, so that seems that they're holding just on the outside of the strongest current. Another good one, yeah. It is important to learn the best tidal flow for the spots that you like to fish, because there's certainly an aspect of success there where you understand when a spot is the best. So the trout are definitely just hanging right at the edge of the strongest current. So I pull it out start in the current, pull it out, which is, how I would expect them to be feeding, looking for bait going past in the strong tidal current, and then ambushing it. So this strong tide coming through here is going to change in about an hour. It's going to turn around and go the other way. and that means this spot, this exact spot, will probably dry up. They might be on the other side of the wall, or they may just spread out from in this area and just be more in the basin. And trout can really stack up in places like this. That spot you find is often very productive will generally correlate to the tidal flow. So keep that in mind, and good luck out there.